Are you preparing for the CompTIA A Plus Core 2 certification and want to make sure you pass on your first try? You are in the right place. In this video, we will go through exam-style practice questions with clear explanations that will help you understand the concepts behind every answer, not just memorizing them. So, whether you are brushing up for the exam day or testing your knowledge, stay tuned till the end. Grab your notes, stay focused, and let's dive right into the question number 1. Question number 26. The network of one of your clients was breached. After investigating the logs and reports, you see that it was a attack, and after 300 attempts, a single user's account was breached. Which of the following should you use? We are talking about countering a dictionary attack. So, what is a dictionary attack? We will see in a while. And the options are option A, lock, option B, virus, option C, count lockout, and option longer passwords. And the correct option is option C, account lockout. So, dictionary attack is a type of attack that has a compilation of most used passwords and phrases, and then these passwords are tried one by one on the user account. So if you apply a policy that the account should be logged out after, let's suppose, 3 or 4 or 5 wrong attempts, so this kind of attack can be thwarted. And the explanation is, so a dictionary attack involves repeatedly trying common or pre-compiled password until one works. Implementing an account lockout policy will automatically lock the account after a certain number of failed login attempts, effectively stopping automated password guessing attacks like this. Other options: screen lock protects unattended devices, not network logins. Antivirus defends against malware but not login attacks. And longer passwords can help, but they don't prevent login attempts. So, account lockout directly mitigates the attack method, which is dictionary attack. Question number 27. You are finalizing a new workstation for a user. The user's PC will be connected to the internet but will not require the same private IP address each time. Which of the following protocol will most likely utilize? And the options are option A, DHCP, option B, DNS, option C, RDP, and option D, SMTP. So DHCP is domain host configuration, dynamic host configuration protocol that is assign IP addresses, other information automatically to the user. DNS is domain name system, and RDP is remote desktop protocol, while SMTP is simple mail transfer protocol. So the correct option here is we are talking about assigning a random IP address to the client, and this is done through DHCP or dynamic host configuration protocol. So let's suppose if we want that the user has the same IP address each time, for this we have provision in DHCP, as well as we can also use static IP addressing. So let's go through the explanation. So DHCP or dynamic host configuration protocol automatically assigns IP addresses to devices on a network. Since the workstation does not require the same private IP address each time used, DHCP is ideal because it dynamically provides an available IP address whenever the device connects. Other incorrect options such as DNS resolve domain names to IP addresses. It is not used to assign IP addresses to clients. RDP or remote desktop protocol is used for remote desktop access and has nothing to do with signing IP addresses, and SMTP or simple mail transfer protocol is used for sending email. So therefore DHCP is the correct choice if you want to randomly assign IP addresses to devices or clients on a network. Question number 28. The company of one of your clients is retiring old workstation and they need a certificate of destruction for all hard drives. Which of the following would be best to perform on the hard drive to ensure the data is unrecoverable? Select two options, and the options are option A, low level formatting, option B, standard formatting, option C, drilling, option D, incineration, option E, recycling, option F, erasing. We are talking about, you can say, digital sanitization of the hard drive so that the data on the hard drive is no longer recoverable. Since the data is sensitive and we have to choose two options, correct options are option C, drilling, and option D, incineration. So why these two options? Because both these options physically, you can say, destroy the hard drive, and there is no way you can recover data from a physically destroyed hard drive. Other methods are through software or logical method, and there are chances that data can still be recovered when they are formatted or erased. So the foolproof method is physically destroying the hard drive either through drilling, incineration, or through crushing. So when a company requires a certificate of destruction, it means the data must be permanently destroyed and unrecoverable. The most effective methods are physical destruction techniques such as drilling, which physically damages the platters, making data recovery impossible, and incineration completely destroys the hard drive and data through intense. Other options like formatting or erasing can leave data recoverable using advanced forensic tools, and recycling does not guarantee data destruction. Question number 29. You removed a virus from a user's device. Same user returns the same device a week later with the same virus on it. Which of the following should you do to prevent future infection? And the options are option A, disable system restore, option B, create the end user, option C, remove some of the user's privileges, and option D, install the latest OS patches. And the correct option is option B. So here the issue seems like with user behavior, since the user is coming again with the same virus, it means that user needs to be educated to update or to improve his behavior and does not indulge in activities that result viruses on their device, such as they may be clicking on malicious links, or they may be visiting malicious websites, or downloading software from third party and unverified sources. So if the user is educated regarding this threat, the will be resolved permanently. So the explanation is, if the same virus reappears after removal, it likely means the user repeated the same risky behavior, for example, downloading from unsafe sites, opening malicious attachments, or using infected USB drives. So educating the end user helps them understand safe computing practices and prevent reinfection. The incorrect options such as disabling system restore might remove restore points but does not stop future infections. Removing privileges can help in some cases but does not address the root cause, which is behavior. And installing operating system patches improves security but would not stop the same virus if user keep producing it. So the best preventive measure here is user education. Question number 30. The system drive of one of your user is nearly full and you need to free up some space for them. Which of the following tools should you use? The options are option A, disk segment, option B, check disk, option C, disk cleanup, and option D, resource monitor. And the correct option is option C, disk cleanup. So using the disk cleanup utility, you can free up some of the spaces from the user drive. So disk cleanup is a Windows utility designed to free up space on a drive by deleting temporary files, system cache, and cycle bin contents and other unnecessary files. Disk defragment rearranges data for faster access but does not free space. Check disk checks for disk errors and bad sectors, and resource monitor shows real-time resource usage but does not manage disk space. So therefore, disk cleanup is the correct tool to use. Question number 31. A malicious file was executed automatically when a flash drive was plugged in. Which of the following features would prevent this type of event? And the options are option A, enabling the firewall, option B, turning off autoplay, option C, disabling AC, and option D, disconnecting from network. And the correct option is we are talking about automatic execution of a file when a USB drive or flash drive is plugged inside the device, and the correct option prevents such occurrence is turning off the autoplay feature. So when autoplay or auto run is enabled, files on removable drives like USB can execute automatically when plugged in, which is now malicious file, which is how malicious files spread quickly. Turning off was the correct option. Turning off autoplay stops any automatic execution and lets the user choose what to do, preventing such infection. Correct options such as enabling firewall only filters network traffic, not USB activity. Disabling UAC would reduce security. UAC is, I think, user account control. And disconnecting from network would not stop local malware from running. So therefore, disabling autoplay feature is the best prevention against automatic execution of files inside USB drives. Question number 32. One of your users is unable to log in into main a desktop PC, but a laptop PC is working properly on the same network. You log in desktop PC with a local account, but you are unable to browse to the secure intranet site to get troubleshoot tools. Which of the following is the most likely cause of the, and the options are option A, dual inline memory module failure, option B, application crash, option C, time drift, and option D, file system errors. Correct option is option C, time drift. And the explanation is, so if a computer's system clock is out of sync with the domain controller, domain logins and access to secure, that is HTTPS sites, can fail because authentication and SSL/TLS certificates rely on accurate time synchronization. The incorrect options such as dual inline memory module failure would cause crashes or boot issues but not login failures. Application crash affects only specific programs, not domain authentication, and file system errors could cause data corruption but would not prevent secure logins or HTTPS browsing. So, time drift between workstation and the domain controller is the most likely cause. Question number 33. One of your users attempts to open some files, but a message appears stating that the files are encrypted. The user was able to access these files before without receiving a message, and no changes have been made. Company. Which of the following has infected the computer? The options are option A, phishing, option B, ransomware, option C, spyware, and option D, logger. And the correct option is option B, ransomware. So ransomware is the malware that encrypts file on a user device, and it is done by malicious actors, and they want ransom in exchange for the decryption key so that the file can be decrypted. So ransomware encrypts a user files and demands payment that is ransom to restore access. The fact that the user previously had access but now sees an message is a clear sign of a ransomware infection. Other option, phishing tricks user into revealing information but does not encrypt files. Spyware secretly monitors user activity, and keyloggers basically records keystroke to steal credentials such as username and password but does not encrypt files. So therefore, the infection is caused by ransomware. Question number 34. One of your junior technician is busy optimizing a client's computer to try and get it to boot faster. The technician goes into MS config to have a look at what's starting up with the computer but sees a message that it has been moved. Where can this junior techie items that start up with Windows? The options are option A, MSTSC, option B, performance monitor, option C, MS Info 32, and option D, task manager. And the correct option is task manager. So the startup items can be the task manager. So in modern versions of Windows, that is Windows 8 and later, the startup tab was moved from MS config to Task Manager. This tab allows you to view and manage programs that automatically start when Windows boots. MSTSC basically opens remote desktop connection. Performance Monitor basically opens Performance Monitor. MS Info 32 displays the system information. So the Task Manager basically opens Task Manager where startup applications are now managed. Therefore, the user technician open Task Manager to view startup items. Question number 35. One of your clients receives a phone call from a person who claims they are from the client's bank. Which of the following describes what is taking place? The options are option A, spear phishing, option B, spoofing, phishing, and option D, evil twin. And the correct option is phishing. So phishing is voice phishing since the attacker is using phone call or voice call to phish the user. Therefore, this type of attack is known as phishing, or you can say phishing using voice messaging or voice calling. So wishing that is voice phishing is a phone-based social engineering attack where a scammer pretends to be a legitimate entity such as like a bank to trick victims into sharing confidential information such as an account number or password. So the incorrect options such as spear phishing is used in email attack targeting a specific person. Spoofing basically is faking identity details like caller ID or IP address. Evil twin is basically fake Wi-Fi network which is for data theft. So because this attack occurs over a phone call, therefore it is phishing. Question number 36. One of your clients downloads and installs a game. Game ends up stealing information from the computer system. What is this known as, or this type of malware is known as? And the options are option A spam, option B phishing, option C Trojan, and option D spyware. And the correct option is option C Trojan. So Trojan is a type of malware that seems a legitimate software or application such as game, but at the back end, it is a malicious software that steals information. So a Trojan or Trojan horse is a type of malicious software disguised as a legitimate program such as a game or utility. Once installed, it performs unauthorized actions like stealing data or giving attackers access to the system. The incorrect options such as spam is unwanted or unsolicited messages. Phishing basically attempts to trick users into revealing data, usually via email or fake websites, and spyware monitors user activity but typically installs silently, not disguised as another program. So since the malware was disguised as game, it is a Trojan or Trojan horse. Question number 37. A client calls a support center which you work at and begins to yell at one of your fellow technician colleagues about a feature of a product that does not work to their satisfaction. This feature is not supported by your support center and needs to be inspected by a field technician. The client continues to demand service. Which of the following is best to? The options are option A, tell the customer they should be able to fix the problem themselves. Option B, inform the customer that problem is not within the scope of this department. Option C, apologize to the client and escalate the matter to manager. And option D, ask the customer to explain the issue, then try to fix it independently. And the correct option is option C, apologize to the client and escalate the matter to a manager. And the explanation is, so in this scenario, the customer is angry and demanding service for an issue outside your department's scope. So the most professional and effective response is to remain calm and apologize for the inconvenience and escalate the issue to a manager or the appropriate team. The incorrect options, telling the customer to fix it themselves, is unprofessional. Similarly, simply saying it's not your department sounds dismissive and escalates frustration. And trying to fix an issue beyond your scope can cause further problems. So, the best action is apologize and escalate so the issue is handled properly and the customer feels heard. Question number 38. A user's newly issued PC has very large desktop icons. They report that the new was working fine until a recent software patch was deployed. Which of the following would best resolve the issue? And the options are option A, restoring the factory settings, option B, rolling back video card drives, option C, run an antivirus scan, and option D, reinstalling the Windows operating system. And the correct option is, so the most suitable action would be to uninstall the recent software patch and that patch was installing or updating the video card drives. So rolling back video card drives would resolve the. If the desktop icons suddenly appear large after a software patch, it likely means video, that is graphics driver, was updated incorrectly or became compatible. The incorrect option, this one is the correct option. So rolling back the video card driver restores the previous working version and usually fixes the scaling. Restoring, factory resetting, or reinstalling Windows are excessive for this problem, and running an antivirus scan is unrelated unless malware is suspected. So therefore, the best solution is to roll back the video card drivers. Question number 39. During your stay at a hotel, when trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, you notice multiple SSIDs. SSIDs are the name of the Wi-Fi that appear on your device when you search for them, with names that look very similar. Which of the following social engineering attacks is used? And the options are option A, impersonation, option B, evil twin, option C, whaling, and option D, phishing. And the correct option is, so when we have multiple SSIDs, and it means that we have a legitimate SSID, and then there is an attacker that is using his rogue Wi-Fi router with the same or similar name to the legitimate Wi-Fi router, so that the user may mistakenly connect to the rogue SSID, and the attacker may then intercept the data. So this type of attack is known as evil twin. So an evil twin attack involves setting up a rogue Wi-Fi access point that uses a name that is SSID similar to a legitimate network such as hotel's Wi-Fi. When users connect to the fake network, attackers can intercept data like logins and personal information. The incorrect option, impersonation, is pretending to be another person, which is not the case over here. Whaling is basically a phishing attack that target executives. Executive means the CEO, or you can say CFO of the organization. So this is a type of phishing attack, but it targets only high value targets such as CEO and CFO. Similarly, phishing is another attack that user do using fraudulent attempts to get sensitive info, typically via email or fake websites. So whaling is also a type of phishing, but it is more specific towards executives. Another phishing attack is spear phishing. So spear phishing is also a type of attack, but it is done against a specific group of people. So phishing is more generic. Then we have spear phishing, which may be against specific group of people. For example, let's suppose the finance department, and then we have very specific that targets high value individuals such as CEO and CFO. So since the attacker is using a fake Wi-Fi network with a similar name, this is an evil twin attack. Question number 40. Which of the following should be used to secure a device from known exploits? The options are option A, remote wipe, option B, encryption, option C, operating system updates, and option D, only install vendor approved software. So known exploits mean these are the vulnerabilities or exploits that are already known to the vendors. So the best defense against them is, since the vendors know them, it means that you need to update and enable operating system updates, because the vendor will be releasing patches for these exploits since they are already known. And if they were not known, the exploits that are not known, as we already studied, they are known as zero-day exploit, and for such exploit there are no patches. They are more risky. You can say are more difficult to defend against since there are no patches against them. Question number and the explanation is, so installing the latest operating system updates ensures that all known vulnerabilities and security flaws are patched, protecting the device from known exploits that attackers might use. The incorrect options, remote wipe basically protects data after a device is lost or stolen and is not from exploits. So remote wipe does not protect from exploits. Similarly, encryption protects data confidentiality, not against software exploits. And option D, only install vendor approved software. This option also helps reduce the risk, but it does not address existing OS vulnerability. Question number 41, you receive a call from a client who is having issue with an application. You want to simultaneously view the user screen them to help them troubleshoot the application. By user screen, we mean that we want to view the user laptop screen or his PC screen. So which of the following would allow you to achieve this? I mean, how can you remotely view the user screen so that you and both the user can and you can troubleshoot the issue? So the option to do this are RDP, remote desktop protocol, option B, virtual private network, option C, SSH, secure shell, and option D, VNC, virtual network connectivity. And the correct option is, so the RDP is specifically for Windows and it does give the remote desktop, but only the remote person can see the desktop. The user won't be able to share or see the screen that what's going on. VPN is used for secure communication over the internet or over public media. SSH is used for secure and encrypted management of remote devices such as network switching and firewall. So the correct option is VNC. So VNC, virtual network computing. So it is virtual network computing, not virtual network connectivity. This allows you to remotely view and control another user's desktop screen in real time, making it ideal for troubleshooting applications with the user watching simultaneously. Other options such as RDP, remote desktop protocol, gives full remote control to the remote user but usually logs out the local user. So the local user cannot view the screen, and so both the remote and the local user cannot view the screen together. Option B, VPN, virtual private network, provides a secure connection to a network, not for screen sharing. And option C, SSH, secure shell, is for command line access to remote systems, not for viewing graphical desktops. Question number 42, the system drive of one of your users is nearly full. You need to free up some space. Which of the following tools you can use to achieve this? I think we have already gone through such type of question before. So the options are option A, disk cleanup, option B, disk defragment, option C, resource monitor, and option D, disk management. And the correct option is, so most of the time we have the clue in the name of the utility such as disk cleanup. So as the name indicates, it is this utility is used to clean up the free up the space on the disk. So disk cleanup is a Windows utility that helps free up space on the system drive by deleting temporary files, system cache, old updates, and items in cycle bin. Incorrect options such as disk defragment reorganizes data for faster access but does not free up space. Resource monitor basically monitors CPU, memory, disk, and network usage. It does not delete files. And disk management basically is used for managing partitions and drives, not for cleaning up files. Question number 43, which of the following can you use in your environment to identify potential issues with a proposed change before implementation? information. The options are option A, request form, option B, rollback plan, option C, end user acceptance, and option D, sandbox testing. Correct option is, we are talking about which of the following can you use in your environment to identify potential issue with the proposed change before, and it is the sandbox testing. So what does sandbox testing do? Sandbox is basically an isolated environment from your production environment where you can test the changes. Let's suppose an application and observe the behavior of the application after change without affecting your production environment, so that if there are any disruption, you can watch them and you can potentially prepare for its deployment in the production environment. So sandbox testing basically allows you to test proposed changes in an isolated environment that mirrors the production system. This helps identify potential issues or conflicts before deploying the change live. Incorrect option, request form is used to formally request a change, not to test it. So this is the initial step. Rollback plan basically outlines steps to revert a change if change failed, but it does not prevent issues beforehand. And end user acceptance occurs after implementation of the testing, not before deployment. So this is, you can say, one of the last step. Question number 44. One of your clients reports an issue on their laptop with their internet connection speed. Which of the following tools can you use to get connections on a laptop? The options are option A, net user, option B, net use, option B, net user, option C, net state, and option D, NS lookup. We are talking about investigating connections on a laptop and how we can do that. So connection means connection to the network or the internet or the outside network. So the net state or network statistic ability that we can use to investigate the connections on the laptop. So net state or network statistic is a command line tool that displays active network connections, ports, and network statistics, help you investigate network activity and performance issues on a laptop. Incorrect options such as net use basically manages shared network drives and users. Net user basically manages user accounts, and NS lookup tests DNS name resolution, not overall network connections. Question number 45. You have discovered that the input of one of your users has been captured. Which of the following malware attack is used? The options are option A, spear phishing, option B, logger, option C, ransomware, and option D, crypto miner. So you can see we are having questions related to these malware attacks, and by now you should be able to know what type of malware does and how does it operate. So the malware that basically captures the user input or the user keystrokes, we already studied this, and as I said before, you should always focus on the name itself. So capturing the code and here keystrokes, and here we can see that logger, it means the malware that logs the. So therefore our correct option is option B, keylogger. Spear phishing, as we already studied, is a phishing attack against specific group of people. Ransomware is malware that encrypts user files and demands ransom or payment for the against the decryption key. And crypto miner is a malware that mines cryptocurrency on the user computer using the user computer resources such as CPU, GPU, RAM. So a keylogger is a type of malware that records keystrokes made by a user to capture sensitive information such as passwords, messages, and credit card details. Other options such as spear phishing is a targeted email-based social engineering attack. Ransomware encrypts data and demands payment for decryption. And crypto miners use system resources to secretly mine cryptocurrency. Question number 46. You discover that at one of your clients, a very high amount of connection requests are coming from all over geographically. What type of attack is this? And the options are option A, distributed denial of service, option B, phishing, option C, 0-day, and option D, ransomware. Correct option is, so again, as we said, always focus on the name. So when your client receives very high number of requests all over geographically, it means that the server or the application of the client will be overwhelmed and the application will be slow or unresponsive to users. So this type of attack is known as distributed denial of service. Denial of service means that the service will be denied to the legitimate users, since there are a very high amount of fake traffic coming from all over geographical locations. So a distributed denial of service or DDoS attack occurs when multiple systems across different locations flood a target server or network with excessive traffic, overwhelming its resources and making it unavailable to legitimate users. Incorrect options such as phishing involve tricking users into revealing information via deceptive messages. Zero-day exploits are unknown vulnerability before their patches exist, and ransomware encrypts file and demands payment for encryption. Question number 47. One of your users would like to enter their username and password only once. Which of the following best describes when a user enters a username and password only once? So only once means that let's suppose there are multiple applications and multiple systems and each requires a username and passwords. So the user wants to enter the username and passwords only once, not each time for each application. So how to do that? So we have the options of option A, MFA, multi-factor authentication, option B, inheritance, option C, SSO, and option D, authentication. And the correct option is, so again, if you know the abbreviation of the SSO, you already know the correct option. SSO stands for single sign-on. So what does this mean? This means that user needs sign on or log in only one time. And then the user can use, let's suppose we have multiple application 1, application 2, and application 3. So user does not need to enter username and password for each application. User need enter application username and password only one through SSO, and then will be able to use all the application. So single sign-on SSO allows a user to log in once and then access multiple related systems or applications without need to re-enter credentials each time. So incorrect options such as MFA, multi-factor authentication, requires multiple verification methods, not single entry. Option B, inheritance, refers to access rights or attributes passed from a parent object, unrelated. And authentication is the general process of verifying identity, not necessarily single sign-on. Question number 48. You have a user who is working from home who is complaining they cannot view or access in-office network folders when they are home. Which of the following is most likely the reason? The options are option A, MDM policies, option B, outdated antivirus, option C, untrusted software, and option D, inactive VPN. And the correct option is inactive VPN. So if the user is working from home and want to access in-office network folder, it means user will be using VPN to access the office network. And if the VPN is inactive, user won't be able to access the office network. So a VPN or virtual private network securely connects remote users to the company's internal network, allowing access to shared folders and resources. If the VPN is inactive or disconnected, the user won't be able to access in-office network folders. Incorrect options such as option A, MDM policy basically manage mobile devices and settings, not direct network access. Option B, outdated antivirus could cause security risk but not network access issues. And option C, untrusted software might be blocked but does not prevent access to shared folders. Question number 49. You need to upgrade a lot of machines at one of your client's company to Windows 11. You notice you have only one disk and decide to do it over the network. Which of the following boot methods initiates such an upgrade? And the options are option A, SSD, option B, optical drive, option C, flash drive, and option D, PXE. So we are looking for upgrading or installing operating system over the network, and the method to do this is option D, PXE. All these methods are done locally on one system at a time, such as using the optical drive, flash drive, or from SSD. So PXE boot basically allows computers to boot from a network server instead of a local media like a disk or USB drive. It's commonly used for mass operating system deployments or upgrades across multiple machines. The incorrect options such as option A, SSD, is a storage device, not a boot method. Option B, optical drive uses CDs and DVDs for installation. And option C, flash drive uses USB storage for booting, not network based. Question number 50. A user at the company of your clients is working with highly regulated data. The user notices that often there is a high amount of traffic in their network area and is concerned about possible data exposure as people walk by. So by traffic means here the high number of people walking around in the area. So which of the following security measures can be used? The options are option A, biometric device, option B, cable lock, option C, privacy screen, and option D, man trap. And the correct option is, so you are talking about protecting confidentiality of our data from people walking nearly or walking by, and it can be done through privacy screens. So a privacy screen limits the viewing angle of a monitor so that only the person directly in front of it can see the display. This prevents shoulder surfing and visual data exposure in areas with heavy foot traffic. Other options such as biometric device controls access to system, not screen visibility. Cable lock basically physically secures devices against theft, and man trap controls physical entry to secure areas, not screen visibility. So that's all for this video. I will upload the part 3 of the video with further questions soon. So please like the video, subscribe for the upcoming video and other certification courses as well as practice questions.